Very disappointing week for the Cowboys, but we always know what's not disappointing is the good old Cifuentes recap. So Ian, go ahead and just take it away for us as you
All right.
always do every week.
Hey, appreciate it. I got a quick 8 bar for you guys. All right. Our beloved Cowboys returned to Arlington for the Week 2 matchup at home. But it was the traveling New Orleans Saints who made Jerry's world their own. How quickly the stadium filled with noise of "Who dat?" drowning out the fans in silver and blue. As the Saints offense marched up and down at will, putting up 35 by the end of quarter 2. It was a tough day for the Dallas defense, young and old players each. They could do nothing to stop Alvin Kamara, who scored 4 touchdowns with ease. And while Dak Prescott and the offense gave it the old college try, at game's end, 'twas only Brandon Aubrey who could hold his head high. All right, fellas, let's get into it. All right, I got a question for y'all. There's been a lot of talk after this game, and people were emotional. And I was emotional too. You can check the text in our group chat. Your boy was maybe making references to, what was it? Wade Phillips' 2010 season. Yeah. And I also heard people describing this as, bro, this is just the Cowboys' identity. When push comes to shove, they just fall over and fell over. But I also have to go look at myself and say, hey, last week, Chief, you were saying there's no absolutes, there's no truths revealed in week 1. Why wouldn't it be the same for week 2? So, fellas, which way you leaning? Are you leaning towards the emotional reaction, or are you leaning like, bro, we still don't know what this team identity is?
I'm leaning towards we still don't know because it's just not okay. The final score isn't exactly the same total amount, but isn't this what we were saying last year at what was that week 2 or week 3 when they went to Arizona, and the same exact scenario happened where they just got ran through every single play, and we looked up and they won 12 games. So yeah, it's not good. Not saying that stuff doesn't need to be fixed because, oh boy, a lot of things need to be fixed. But to be like, oh, week 2, their season's done. They can't stop anybody just because Kamara had a good game and, New Orleans did their thing, whatever they wanted to do. Hey, that happens in the NFL every single week to all these other teams too. So I'm not ready to jump off the fence. I mean, Rudy, I don't know about you. You can go ahead and give me your thoughts.
Look, to Justin's point that it does happen to other teams across the league, we just saw the Niners lose against the Vikings. We saw the Ravens lose at home against the Raiders. That being said, their losses should not matter in our perspective when we're just looking at the Cowboys. I'll tell you this, I was too emotional on how high I was after week 1. If we can't say today the season's over, I shouldn't have been talking about the season's all golden after that point. You're right, Justin. There are ups and downs in every season. We saw it last year against the Cardinals. But, hey, man, there are holes in this team,
Well, we knew there were holes before, though. That's all I'm saying.
The hole isn't going away, right? Your interior defensive linemen are your interior defensive linemen. Look, it's the ozone right now, and people are still using hairspray. We can't stop it. We can't close the hole. I know we brought in new linebackers, but we only use them in certain packages, so we're not seeing DeMarvion Overshawn all over the place. And sometimes he doesn't even do the right assignment. So, I mean, look, they need more coaching up. The personnel ain't great. When you lose your tight end, apparently you only have one target on the field offensively, and so what are you to do? Oh, man, it's not the end of the world, but oh boy, we need some work and soon.
I'll go ahead, Ian, before
Well, Rudy said a lot of things, and I think he also said a lot of good things. But he did mention a lot of stuff, but let's stay on the defensive side for the time being. You did bring up the linebackers, but honestly, bro, the linebackers, both weeks, I know we got ran on, but that's the least of my concerns right now. It's kind of begins with the defensive line, and yeah, Rudy, it's still the ozone, it's still the hole like it was last season. It's kind of weird that we didn't fix it, but to be honest, this isn't the same personnel as last season. It's different guys, and we thought those guys were going to get the job done. But week 2 returns, I guess after 2 weeks return, man, it doesn't look like those are the guys we thought they were last season. It's definitely Mike Zimmer didn't think that. But in a way, that's also a good thing to know, is that maybe it's the guys that need work, not the scheme. Where I think was with Dan Quinn, it was the scheme more than anything, and how he built the scheme around certain personnel. So yeah, we'll see if Mike Zimmer can help these guys get along, because I don't think the personnel is going to change. There's no stud defensive lineman hiding under or hiding in free or on the streets or anything that we can pick up. So we're stuck with who we got. But I'm also looking at those safeties, man, because I think the entire Saints game can be summed up on one play, which is kind of goes down to personnel, but it's between old guys not doing what they're supposed to do, veteran players not doing what they're supposed to do, and young guys just not knowing any better. And that's the Shaheed go play, where the Saints are definitely trying to get to this. And for some reason, the safeties just both of them let him run right by them. Nobody picks him up. But also Carson didn't do his job on that play either and slow him down at all as he got to that second level. So personnel's got a lot of work to do.
And I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people had them 1-1 between weeks 1 and 2. I know it didn't look good and it looked pretty ugly, but these are professionals. Like, I don't know how many seasons before that we've seen them poop the bed in a game and then respond next week and weeks to come. I mean, yeah, it needs to be fixed. These defenders actually need to do their job. There's no magic sauce that Mike Zimmer can whisper into their ear, weird phrasing, but there's nothing that he can say or nothing that he can game plan that's going to fix what happened. They just flat out got beat. There's nothing about stopping a toss sweep. That's the most basic play in football. We all ran it in 5th grade. We were all on the same team. What did Coach Ahern, Ray Brooker, or whatever, they said, what is it, 38 toss or 28 toss? Yeah, or 27 toss, 28 toss, bro. We all know that play. Cowboys didn't know that play on Sunday. They didn't know they could stop it. So it's just a matter of, can you just do it and can you just step up? There's no secret game plan, and these are all professionals. At the end of the day, no matter your stinkiest team, they all respond when they get punched in the mouth. So it's just a matter of how they're going to respond in these coming weeks. Well, go ahead, Rudy. I'm sorry. Go ahead and ask.
I mean, look, and to your point as to, the men across from you get paid too. They were led by Clint Kubiak, who was once the OC against a Mike Zimmer team. So, I mean, he saw Mike Zimmer defenses every day of that entire year he was there. Was it more than a year? Anyway, I mean, like, he's familiar with Mike Zimmer's defense. He's familiar with our personnel, and he's using the weapons around him very well, to be fair.
But, Rudy, they weren't scheming up anything that great, bro. It was basic plays. They just couldn't stop it.
But to Rudy's point, I think we got to give credit to the Saints, bro. They kind of came with the game plan and they executed that thing perfectly. And
that's fine.
They had all 11 people working together to get that shit done. I look at the Cowboys. I don't think you got all 11 working together to get that stuff done. And Justin, these guys are professionals, but you know what? Albert Hainsworth was a professional until he wasn't. Greg Hardy was professional until he wasn't. T.O. was professional until he wasn't. Bro, we've seen this. Like, guys can get by for a certain amount of period and then kind of show their true colors. So you said there's no magic sauce in the game plan. Maybe not in-game situation, but I hope Mike Zimmer has some magic sauce he's cooking up.
If the stories are what the story... If the stories are what their stories are about Zimmer, I mean, I know he was here for when we were little kids, but if the stories are what they are, hey, if you're not going to do your job this week, you're not playing. Sorry. If Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson, you're going to run cover 2, and then you're going to let the Shaheed, his only play in the playbook that everybody should be looking for and game playing around, and you're not going to cover it?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you need to take a seat on the bench for a couple plays or a couple series. Hey, Lindell Joseph, who's my other dude that we pulled off the Jordan Phillips. Hey, you going to be lazy on this play or you're just going to get flat out beat? Hey, maybe you need to take a seat. We can go pick up boy on the practice squad, elevate him. Maybe he going to give a better effort. So That's what that looked like on Sunday. It wasn't a matter of, man, there ain't nothing we can do about this play. There ain't nothing that we don't know what's coming. It's just flat out non-executing.
And I unfortunately I think the worst part is you can take that player out and who's going in. Like we're not deep
I
in
know,
so
but
many
Rudy,
crucial positions. Like yes, Mike Zimmer can do what we want him to do, take out the player who's not doing his job right. Is there a player who's going to come in and do the job right? Like I don't know that.
oh, well, based off what we saw on Sunday, I don't think it could get any worse. And at the end of the day, it's just a matter. Rudy, you can't allow a team to not punt the first 6 possessions into a game.
No, I know, dude. Like it was horrendous. I guess I'm just I'm not going to advocate for the backups too much, but hey, you know what? Like you're not wrong. That was atrocious, and that can't be allowed. So look, if Mike Zimmer is exactly what has been told to us, he's going to pull players out. He's going to hold people accountable. Then he should do it. I don't know who you're putting in at that point.
Well, I think the safety position, you got Marquise Bell and you got Wanye Thomas. I don't know if they play the same position, but you got some options with some younger guys. Defensive line, I think, gets a little bit trickier, but to Justice's point, can't get any worse.
Yeah, if that's what's going to be put on tape, what's the point? Why not go with the younger guy that maybe there's some there probably isn't any upside. There may, like you were saying, Rudy, it could get worse. But I think he's going to at least exhaust every option, unlike maybe Dan Quinn in the past where it's like, my scheme's getting cooked. Hey, bro, it is what it is. I ain't know what I can do. It's a Shanahan boy. I don't know what to do on this point. But that had nothing to do with anything on Sunday. That's just wasn't it. And then offensively, I mean, I think we want to pivot there next. I just feel like if you're not going to stop a team in their first opening 6 possessions, and it doesn't matter what you do on offense, you have to be perfect on offense. And I mean, yeah, it didn't look great without maybe Jake Ferguson there, but if you think about it, there's 12 points off the board if Jalen Brooks gets a block on that Brandon Cooks reverse. He probably scores. If Dak doesn't underthrow Zeke, he probably scores. There's 12 points right there that could easily be added.
The slip by I forget which receiver that led to the pick.
Oh,
but I mean,
Jalen Brooks.
And that drive continues on if your receivers doesn't fall down. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot to be fixed. Jesus, man. I don't know. And you're right. When your defense allows that many points that quickly, there's only so much you can do. You're pretty much giving up on establishing the run, so the defense knows, all right, we'll drop back, we'll play pass all day, and you don't have receivers that create their own separation. So you're kind of screwed from that point on. And Dak had a solid game, but oh man, it's demoralizing to know that if you take CD off that offense, you have no one who can make plays on their own.
So I'm not too disappointed with the offensive performance. And the young guys, I think we should probably give them a little bit more credit. Schoonmaker did make some plays out there with Jake Ferguson gone. I mean, obviously he's not as impactful, but he made some plays when his number was called. Jalen Brooks, I don't think he was probably poor in the long run of things.
Oh, he was bad.
Let me get back to him in a second. But Tolbert, I think he started off bad, but I liked the way he rebounded. And hopefully he gets some confidence with that big catch. And I think he had another catch down the stretch of the game. But what I need from these young guys, it's okay to make mistakes now because it's early in the season. You guys are getting the reps. And like we were just talking about with the defense, we really got nobody else to turn to on the offensive side of the ball. Like the young guys are who we are going to ride with because of what we did in the offseason. So Jalen Brooks, and Tolbert and the rest of you guys, I need you guys to have like a short memory and be confident in what you guys are doing because I'm going to allow you guys to make mistakes now, but down the stretch of the game or down the season, we're still going to need you guys. So I'm going to need y'all to have like memory of a goldfish. And then because Dak is going to need y'all and so we didn't even talk about the O-line, Guyton, BB and whatnot, I have a short memory, boys, and let's move on to the next week after you watch the film. But also, Dak, bro, Now this game ain't on him, and I don't have a problem with that pick, but that throw to Zeke, it's got to be on the money, man. Like, we have no room for error, and you are a guy on the offensive side of the ball. I can't have you missing that point in the game. And then that fourth quarter interception, I know the game was over. Huh?
Well, before you move on to that, what was the situation? Wasn't it only a 2-possession game at that point with the Zeke miss?
Probably, yeah.
I think it was. Wasn't it? It was. It wasn't. Was it before or after the CD touchdown? Because I mean, 21-13 at second quarter is a pretty good spot to be in, and you get the ball back after half. But I do remember that Zeke pass. It ended up resulting in having to trot out the field goal team because I think they took back-to-back sacks after it.
Yeah, it did. But what I'm saying is, like, bro, that's a money play, and it's there.
Oh, yeah,
you got to make it.
I'm fully emphasizing what you're saying by saying, hey, the tie of the game could have easily changed at that point. Defense maybe gets a little confidence of, oh, okay,
yeah,
it's not all on us. Like, we don't have to theoretically just make a stop and the game's over now. Or the game's over now. It's like, okay, well, maybe we can make a play here, or maybe we can boost some sort of confidence. It was just a sink after that Zeke miss. I felt like it was just, hey, we went from treading water to actively drowning.
Yeah. And then I was just gonna say the fourth quarter interception, bro, is too early for me for you to be kind of like, all right, I'm gonna start risking it. I kind of need you to go down to the wire a little bit later, but that's just me being extra critical at that point. So that's all I got to say about the offense.
Moving on though to the next week. Obviously, you got a Baltimore team coming in, 2 losses. They got their own problems. I know a lot of people like to see about the reputation of them, and then they're like, "Oh, well, they played KC week 1. We're going to cut them some slack." But that that Las Vegas Raiders game, inexcusable. We all know how we feel about Baltimore in general, but do you think, obviously, hey, they run the football. That's no secret. Different type of running than what we saw on Sunday. They got a new running back, obviously, with Derrick Henry, and then obviously Lamar is Lamar. But do you think that this is just professionals? Hey, we see the film. We got shootout. We understand what our job is. We have pride. We're going to respond, or you think this continues into next week?
I mean, going into next week, I don't expect... the way that Shaheed could take the top off the defense, you always had to, have some plan around that. I like Zay Flowers, but I don't think you have that with Baltimore. I think we're going to be able to key in more players into the zone and prepare for a zone read or whatever Baltimore has for us. The interior defensive line are going to have more help from linebackers, I think. And knowing that Baltimore does not have a good offensive line, I expect Micah to be in the backfield forcing quick throws, so then it becomes on the linebackers. It's incumbent on them to get out to the flats and stop tight ends or what Baltimore does. I think we're a better matchup for what Baltimore has and what they do, what they're capable of doing, than what it was with the Saints, to be honest.
Under Mike McCarthy, this team has shown like a good resilience to bounce back after poor performances. With that being said, if you're too old, bro. So I don't know, bro. If they see how you can push around the tackles 5 yards down the field to the linebackers, I mean, that's just the truth. So I think you got a lot of questions. I can't answer these questions until the game day. I hate to say that, but I got to see how these old guys bounce back, and then maybe Zim can do enough to cover these guys up and maybe find a quick solution. But just knowing what I know about McCarthy, I guess here's my answer is I think they will bounce back.
Wow. That's the beautiful thing about the NFL, in my opinion. It's a week-to-week league,
Oh my God.
Not to be cliche, man, but I don't know, man. There's something about these professionals that they got the ability to just flip a switch 1 week. Even the worst Cowboys teams that we see in the last couple of decades.
Bro, that's not a definition of a professional. You got, bro, I'm turning I'm getting a paycheck today, so let me turn off for this week. Oh, you know what? I'm a professional, so let me turn this switch back on. Bro, and he's professional.
everybody's human. The fact that you can flip a switch.
So now we
I
change
feel-
what these players are from professional to human.
Yeah, man. If it was a college player, man, college, high school, they're like, man, we got our ass kicked. That's going to be a 4-week process to get our confidence back. I feel like professionals, it's a new week. The sun is shining. Maybe I might get a little bit of a better effort. Maybe I might eat a better meal before the game on Sunday. Who knows?
Justin, people come to us for definitive facts. Even
That's
they want to know the
That's
truth
not
about
cap
the game.
at all, bro.
And
we
you
don't
gave
know that.
them that people are people, and they're gonna do people things. That's not what
Is
the
that
audience is here for.
Is that not the truth? I mean, I feel like that's what it was. It's like, y'all look like y'all had a bad day. Y'all had a bad morning. It's a noon kickoff. Shoot. Them Ravens game, that's a 3:25. We ain't no noon team.
People want some quality analysis. They want to say the film said this, so this will occur.
Rudy, they're gonna remember this conversation when they see the performance on Sunday. They're like, huh, maybe Justin was right. Maybe they did have their Wheaties or their eggs. Oh yeah.
If only it was that simple, bro. I got your Wheaties this week. The Wheaties you had last week, they were just bad.
Hey,
Wheaties, bro.
that just tells you how bad the performance was. I don't know what to say. I mean, I think that's the only way. Look, I don't got the answers. They probably have the answers. I'm sure they're thinking about the answers right as we speak. But it's just a matter if they're actually going to write out the answers on their test and remember and comprehend that. I mean, look, like I said earlier, there's no magic serum. There's no Zimmer sauce. It is what it is. You're going to do what you're supposed to do or you're not. And we're going to see how the season's going to turn out based off that. I can't imagine how a team – it's not like Cleveland. It's not like they don't want to run the ball either. You can't tell me that you can't go from week 1 being stout against the run and then week 2 you're just like, I don't know what to do today. And then not respond in the following weeks. It's entirely up to them. There's nothing else that can happen other than them just responding. And if they don't respond, they're probably going to lose again.
All right, so we could be our team and get whooped up on, but I think it's even more embarrassing to get to be in the lead and then having to slip it away from you, like the Baltimore Ravens, or let's just look on over in our division and see, the Eagles. Surely they won that game, fellas, because I turned it off with 2 minutes to go. They're in field goal range, running down the clock, bro. Man, there's no way they lost that.
Look, I'm going to cut Saquon some slack. I don't understand why Saquon gets the scope. It's not like he's getting paid that much relative to what he should be getting paid, in my opinion. But they're like, oh, man, and this why running backs don't matter. He was supposed to make that play. Blah, 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 blah. How about the coach? Just run it. The Falcons, that entire drive were just like, I don't know how to stop him. Let's just let him run all the clock out. When they had like a 3rd and 20 or something, or a 2nd and 20, and they gave it up like it was nothing. How about you just hand the ball off to him, and then the clock continues to run if he doesn't pick it up, and at worst you get to run the apparently the most unstoppable play in NFL history on 4th and 1. Sirianni and Kellen Moore, whoever you want to blame, I feel like they got too cute. And then second of all, no blame goes to the defense. It's not like the Vikings. I almost said the Vikings. It's not like the Falcons had any timeouts, and we saw Kirk Cousins play kind of pretty bad the entire game, and all of a sudden he just has it's easy street going down the field to Darnell Mooney every single play. Like, how is Saquon just getting the brunt of this blame?
Some of it should go on coaching, right? There was some stat I saw this week essentially saying that since Saquon's entered the league, or maybe it was just over the last 2 years, he has the most drops of any halfback in the league. And so, yeah, you should look at Kellen Moore. You should look at Sirianni. Whoever's decision that is, you should know your personnel better. Know on this crucial 3rd down. Don't throw to the guy who's dropping the most at his position. I understand he's a playmaker, so that's what you want to go towards, but You got to do better than that. And I think on the other side, it's funny because we were just, knocking the Cowboys for 10 different things. And I didn't, but y'all two, if I'm correct, did pick the Cowboys to finish above the Eagles in the division standings by the end of the year. There's a reason for that. That poor secondary. And you mentioned Darnell Mooney, Justin. The Falcons shred that defense up on their way to a victory where Kirk Cousins last week looks like trash, but against the Eagles, he's the savior, he's the hero, he's the clutch.
Rudy for a quarter.
Yeah,
he was
that's all he needed
for a quarter.
That's the thing, though. But Jalen Hurts is ass. The man doesn't want to complete a pass. If Saquon's not on the field, the team is useless. And so you saw a team who has good personnel in plenty of scattered places take a lead against a downtrodden Falcons team like they did plenty of times last year and lose it at the end, the way they did against the Cardinals last year. Like, the Eagles are frauds. And I mean, I don't know why I chose them to win the division, but we saw last night or Monday night was embarrassing. And the fact that the Falcons abysmal week one, and then what they looked like in the clutch, the Eagles should be embarrassed.
Yeah, I think if I was an Eagles fan, I'd be much more embarrassed. But the chef's kiss on it all was, Saquon dropping it, and then big play Slay getting cooked on a 5-and-out for the touchdown. I don't even know what he's doing. Troy Aikman was so baffled. And then your franchise quarterback throwing a pick to seal the game. I mean, beauty, masterpiece.
It gets pretty ugly for him quick, and I mean, okay. First of all, no AJ Brown for a minute. From what it sounds like, with that little hamstring injury, which who knows how long that's going to be a problem. And then these next 3 games, look, I'm not bullish on the NFC South. I'm not bullish on these 2 teams. I don't care that one of these 2 teams just whooped up on the Cowboys on Sunday. It is what it is. But as of right now, as it currently stands, probably the 2 best teams in the NFC. Only 2 weeks, guys. But as of right now, the 2 best teams in the NFC are probably the Buccaneers and New Orleans. That's who the Eagles got in back-to-back weeks. And then no AJ Brown still, and you got the Browns. I mean, the Browns defense is still the Browns defense. And no AJ Brown means a big problem for the Eagles, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, look, what the Saints just did the last 2 weeks, I know one was against the Panthers, and we've pointed out our own holes this last, full segment, but the Saints offensively are kind of a nightmare to deal with at this point in the game. So the Eagles, I expect them to have issues with that one. Following that up with Tampa after they've just beat Detroit, I see no reason for Tampa not to get through Philadelphia. I mean, they did in the playoffs as well. Of course, it's every given Sunday. Anything can happen, but on paper right now, it looks like Tampa should absolutely get through Philly as well. You follow up with Cleveland. Justin, I want the highest on the Jaguars, but the Jags aren't too bad either. They go over there and win on the road. So, I mean, they do have a tough matchup for the next 3 weeks consecutively.
You mentioned the Panther. Do you got something to add to the Eagles, Ian? Because I was going to have to move on. Because Rue makes a great point.
Nah, I got nothing. I was going to say, you're right. No A.J. Brown equals big problem.
I mean, that's what it was last year until that man demanded the ball, which we love. Rudy, you brought up the Panthers. Obviously, the news of yesterday on Monday, Bryce Young. We already discussed that last week. And you guys may say I'm too early on this and that Justin, you need to tap the brakes. But I will ask the question. In 5 years, who do we think is crazier, the Bears or the Panthers for their first round pick at the quarterback position?
For Caleb or Bryce?
Yes.
I don't see how either of them are crazy, bro. They were definitely both good prospects coming out of college.
Yes, they were, but we know this about NFL prospects, and if you're giving up your next year's first-round pick because you think that this guy's the guy, he better damn well be the guy. And I know the likelihood that every first round pick's going to be that guy is not high, but it's not like they drafted Will Levis. Like they had the number one overall pick. I think it's a massive bust, to be honest. And the bench for Andy Dalton is just admitting such. They know that he's not the guy. He can't do it. And Caleb still has the potential. Like Ian and I talked about buying some Caleb Williams stock last week. So regardless of how bad that was, I don't think it can turn out as bad as what Bryce Young has been. Second year he's benched in the second week.
Actually, you know what? My answer is San Francisco 49ers for moving up to draft Trey Lance for a guy who played 10 games in college football. So that's actually the worst.
They fell into
it doesn't matter because they hit the lottery in the 6th round, which they probably won't pay. They might not pay him. I don't know yet, but it is 7th round. I'm sorry, Rudy. Yeah, they hit the lottery in the 7th round. So their mistake is null and void. I guess let me rephrase the question.
Well, yeah, that was your question, though.
No, it was
let me
Caleb
rephrase the
versus
question.
Bryce.
Let me rephrase the question. After seeing Trey Lance, Bryce Young, even Caleb Williams, I'm full on selling that, especially after Sunday. Are you glad now that Dak's extended and you think Cowboys fans are crazy that they're just like, hey, we could just draft somebody. We could just reset the clock.
I think we're all in agreement, yes. So that's not a question for us. That's a question for the other Cowboy fans, quote unquote.
First of all, this is the Around the NFL segment. We're supposed to get away from the Cowboys.
I understand, but Rudy, this dude Bryce Young, he threw 3 balls on his tippy toes.
Yeah,
he couldn't.
Look, you know what's the craziest? Okay, theory out here, just throwing it out. Let's say Dak's not on your team. You don't have a quarterback. I think roster building wise, we try a little harder in free agency instead of being like, Dak, we paid you, be 11 men on the field. Go out there and do everything. So, there is a possibility that we try harder in building a better team without Dak instead of being like, CD, Dak, we paid you, do everything. But no. I don't think we need to compare awful drafting from awful teams to us paying our franchise quarterback who was essentially second in MVP last year.
Just you wait till Bryce Young gets a different team, bro. Then he'll show you.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, bro, he'll be fine
It'll be
after
like
that
when Darnold left Carolina and Baker left Carolina, they're all doing all right.
Hey, Darnold went to the Super Bowl last year. Now, he wasn't the starter, but he went to the Super Bowl.
Man saying that's why y'all should have
mic off.
Talking about that's why y'all shouldn't have cut me to the 49ers.
You know, when Cooper Rush takes that star off his helmet, he's going to be something special in New York.
Oh,
now
please, Rudy.
No,
please, Rudy. Give me a break.
Messing around.
So, okay, I got another question for you. We brought up Sam Darnold, we brought up the Vikings. They obviously beat the 49ers. How concerned are we with the 49ers now, stay with me. I still am thinking that they're probably going to end up being the 1 seed regardless of what happens. They just seem to luck into things just seem to turn up quick for them, especially when it comes to the NFC side of things. But obviously CMC done for the first half of the season pretty much. Go ahead.
So I thought it was just he's out for at least 4 weeks. Are you?
That's the first half of the season. That's the first half of this. Well, okay, quarter of the season. I'm sorry.
Wait.
I apologize.
Rudy, check his math because I don't think that's right.
I apologize.
Yeah.
You get the
journalism
point.
degree, right?
I meant the quarter of the season. I apologize. Okay. Well, another. This is this thing about them 49ers. That injury bug be circulating in that room. They avoided it last year, but Debo popping up. He's out. You already dropped the games to the 49ers or to the Vikings. Are we a little concerned at all?
I'm not. That's a team that, look, we talked about it in other, with the Cowboys and stuff, the loss to the Vikings versus the loss to the Saints. It is week 2. It's something that you can absolutely overcome. I do think they're a deeper roster than what other top teams in the conference are. So I think I think it's honestly going to work out fine for
Oh.
them. Let's say they finish second in the division. I don't think they'll have an issue with any playoff matchup. So, no, I mean, it's too early to count them out in any way.
Before you answer, Ian, oh my word, these dudes are the luckiest team in the NFL. Their next 3 games are the Rams, Patriots, and Cardinals. So maybe you can just disregard whatever I just
Patriots
asked.
and Cardinals might be a tougher matchup than what we would have thought before the season.
They're too talented on defense to allow that to happen.
You say that, but then Sam Darnold just put up 23, and that was enough.
You don't think the Jetta one big play influenced a lot of that? But
You don't think
I'll let you
Calamari
answer.
can do
Oh,
that?
I'm the Cardinals one is probably the best team, but they might be healthy by then.
So
They're the third.
Well,
yeah,
isn't,
I guess to your point.
McCaffrey on IR, short-term IR?
Yeah.
So,
but
I mean, he won't be
Debo
healthy then.
Debo might be back, though, and you know
Yeah,
how
so
you know how
Justin,
that rolls. He's been
To
turning up.
answer your
this
question,
year.
you probably provided the answer in the question by saying this team is luck, and now you kind of has all the luck going in their favor, and you kind of outlined it with their upcoming schedule. And the only way that I guess my only thought was like, oh, if they get behind in the standings, like I was hoping either the Cardinals could maybe take. I mean, I guess we could. I was hoping the Cardinals and the Rams could take some games, but talk about injuries. The Rams are basically
that's
dead.
what I was going to say.
So that's out
Disregard
the
them.
window. Yeah, Cardinals. I mean, that was pretty shocking that they put up 40 on what everyone and I kind of believed was a good Rams team. I mean, maybe that was down to injuries more on the Rams. So maybe they're down and out before the season even starts for the Rams, and maybe the Cardinals just beat up on a dead corpse. That is the Rams. So maybe the Cardinals don't have anything, but maybe the Seahawks are they? They're not 2-0, are they?
They are.
Maybe they can get a nice little winning streak going early on in the season and take that number one spot
Again,
just for a little bit, just to get ahead a little bit. That's what I'm saying.
They play the 49ers right after those 3 games we just highlighted.
Shoot, if they're 5-0 at that point, not bad at all. I don't know what I'm saying, but let's go ahead.
So, well, they're Ian, you might be halfway there. Their schedule is turning up on easy street pretty soon too. They got the Dolphins this week.
2 less Dolphins. Yep.
Yeah. The Lions on Monday night. That would be a tough game, obviously. But then they play the G-Men. So
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
this 49ers game might be for the division lead in October, and we're talking about, hey, Seahawks contenders? Probably not, but
Hey, they got that defensive coordinator though that kind of made Shanahan's offense look like poo-poo-ness on Thursday night.
I don't think we got the personnel to do all that, but
all right.
Their schedule is looking pretty nice. I mean, you beat the Dolphins, you beat the Giants. Maybe we'll call the Lions a wash. Hey, you got back-to-back games against the 49ers who are hurt, and then the Falcons. I don't know. That's a great opportunity to make some hay, especially almost over a quarter of the way through the season.
Facts.
All right, it's everyone's favorite segment, the weekly pick'ems. Ian, I'm going to turn to you. Tell me how that scoreboard's looking.
Yeah, we are getting closer to normalcy because your boy, Chief, finished on top with 10 wins. Justin finished second with 9. And Rudy, you finished right where we expect you, which is in third with 7 wins. So that brings the total up to Justin.
Okay. You made it sound like I got like 2 corrects. All right. We're in striking distance.
Rudy, you losing ground, bro. But it is what it is.
You know, I want to lull my opponents into thinking they've got it when I'm a strike like a cobra. And it starts today. It starts with the Patriots.
Hold on. Rudy, do you want to go first now? Do you want to go first this week?
I could go first.
Yeah, I'll let... Ian, are you okay with Rudy going first?
No. Well,
No.
I mean, I'll follow him. I'm just gonna pick who I'm gonna pick. So just to switch it up, just to make sure that we know it's not just you
Yeah.
being paranoid by me and Ian's picks. So
Yeah. Let's do that.
I'm cool with you letting go first.
Special edition, the Wheezy comeback saga begins now. We start off with the Patriots traveling to New Jersey, playing the Jets. The spread is currently Patriots +6, and go ahead and give me the Patriots +6.
Give me the Jets.
It's a big spread, but give me the Jets at home.
Oh, free money. Appreciate it, fellas. Moving on to Sunday. We've got the Chargers traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, where the spread is currently Chargers +1.5. I'll go ahead and take the Steelers at home.
Give me the Steelers as well.
Give me Harbaugh and the Chargers.
All right. I see Ian's off to an 0-2 start for this week. Moving on. We've got the Bears traveling to Indy to take on the Colts, where the spread is currently Bears +1. I will take the hometown Indianapolis Colts to cover that.
Give me the Colts as well.
Yep. Colts.
Clean sweep for them Bolts. Moving on. We've got the Houston Texans traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The spread is currently Vikings +2.5.
Wow, that's pretty close.
Ooh. I wouldn't have imagined 2 weeks ago I'm even contemplating this, but the way Minnesota's played, there is no Jay Jettas though. Go ahead and give me Stroud and them boys to cover that 2.5.
Yep. Texans.
Give me Aaron Jones and the Vikings.
All right.
I thought he was hurt.
I think he's healthy, or I think he's gonna play. So.
And moving on.
Moving on.
To Justin's favorite team and favorite matchup here, maybe QB based. We've got the New York the New York Giants traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. The spread is currently it is Giants +6.5. Fellas. Oh wait, no, it goes to me. I will go with the Browns to cover that 6.5.
Give me the Browns.
Whew. Feels too big. Give me the Giants.
You acting like Daniel Jones isn't a turnover away waiting to happen.
All right, good point. Give me the Browns.
Oh, Justin.
Whatever, man.
Right. Moving on. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Nolans taking on the Saints, where the spread is currently Eagles +2.5. I will take New Orleans to cover that.
It would be the most New Orleans thing in the world for them to drop this game, especially if no A.J. Brown. Give me New Orleans, I guess.
Justin makes some good points. But no A.J. Brown, I think, sinks the Eagles. Give me the Saints.
All right. Clean sweep there. And moving on. We've got the Denver Broncos traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucs, where the spread is currently Broncos +6.5. Give me Bucs over Bronx. I'll take them Pirates.
Yep.
Yeah, this sounds about right.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, you go out there and back Bo Nix. Why don't you? I can't.
Well, you know what? I think what we're realizing right now is that when y'all pick first, I don't have. Well, like I just want to be different a lot of the time. But
that's why I'm just like, why don't you just go first?
Yeah, this might be.
Yeah. No, I'm enjoying this a little more. Moving on though. We have the Packers traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans, where the spread is currently Packers +3.
Didn't they just play them?
No, they play the Colts.
Obviously not.
Oh man, it's some NFC South team or AFC South teams, bro. They got the same color scheme,
True.
or similar color scheme.
Yes. That being said, give me the Packers +3 on the road.
Give me the Titans.
Did the Titans lose last week?
Yeah, they lost to the Jets.
I thought they did. Yeah.
And I don't know anything about them.
Titans for Jutton.
Yeah, give me the
What you got,
Titans.
Chief?
Okay, I will take the Titans.
Titans for Chief. All right, cool. Sounds good.
You had the Packers, Rudy?
I did.
No way, Malik Willis does it again.
Oh, it's too easy.
Kind of.
Against
Yeah,
Will
kind of
Levis, Mayo, and Coffee Boy? Get out of here.
Well, there's something weird about the Colts. That defense isn't as good as it once was.
All right. Moving on. We're going to the 3 o'clock slate, where we'll see Justin's Carolina Panthers traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders. The spread is currently Carolina +5.5, and I will take the Raiders to cover that.
Jesus, this is a terrible game.
Let's gamble here a little bit. Revitalize Panthers locker room with Andy Dalton at the helm. They at least cover.
I will go with Rudy on this one and take the Raiders.
All right, and moving on. The Tualus Dolphins are traveling up to take on the Seahawks of Seattle, where the spread is currently +4.5 to the Dolphins. I'll say Seattle covers that. Give me that 5-point or more victory.
Give me the Seahawks.
Clean sweep. All right, moving on. We got the Lions traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals, where the spread is Cardinals +3 at home. Now, that's an interesting matchup right there, because the Cardinals have been playing pretty dang good, and you're giving them points at home, although it's against the Lions. Wow.
Dang, I hope I get to see this game.
Give me the Cardinals +3. I can't believe
I'm surprised you took that.
Words.
I'm gonna go with you, Rudy, but I'm surprised you picked that.
Give me the Fighting Dan Campbells.
Wow. I'm stunned that I've taken the Cardinals.
Why? They look good. They look good last week. Kyler looked on. I mean, Marvin Harrison breaking out aside. Kyler looked okay. First 2 weeks. I mean, and James Conner. So,
all right, moving on. We've got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Arlington to take on them Cowboys.
That's a shame.
Sorry?
I just realized these two games are on at the same time. So
yeah.
Very hoeing.
I apologize, Rudy. Go ahead.
Cowboys +1.5 at home. I will take the Cowboys and the points. Fellas, who you got?
For the purpose, let's just go Baltimore.
I got the Cowboys.
All right. Moving on, we got a divisional matchup in the NFC where we got the Niners traveling to LA to take on the Rams, where the spread is currently Rams +7.5. That is quite the spread. They were quite abysmal last week, but the Niners weren't anything special. Jesus, 7.5 though.
It's pretty gross. If Cup was healthy.
Wow, God. To stay within a full touchdown. All right, give me the Niners. While hurt, give me the Niners.
Give me the Rams.
Oh, okay. Give me the Niners.
I didn't say they were going to win. They just need to cover.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Moving on to Sunday Night Football. We have the Chiefs traveling to Hotlanta to take on the Falcons. The spread is currently
What?
Atlanta plus 3.5.
Who wants this matchup on the television late at night? Good lord.
What was the spread?
3.5 to Atlanta.
Kansas City.
It's a
Yep.
I'll join over there. The barbecue boys get it done. Chiefs. Moving on, we have a doubleheader on Monday night, by the way, folks, at 6:30 Central Standard Time. We got the Jaguars traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills, where the spread is currently Jacksonville plus 6.5. I'll go ahead and say the Bills cover that at home.
Give me Buffalo.
Yep.
Clean sweep for them Bills. Moving on, the final matchup of the evening. You know what? That might have been 6:30 Eastern. Next one
That's
is
even worse.
7:15. I don't know what time zone these are in. No.
I have
no,
6:30
No, that's right.
Central
That's
for that first
6:30
one.
and then 7:15. Yeah, these are Central.
Yep.
Last matchup, Monday Night Football, 7:15 Central Standard Time. We've got the Commanders traveling to the Bengals in a matchup that Justin was begging for. The current spread is Washington plus 7.5. I will say Washington stays within 7.5. I'll take the Commanders. Who do y'all got?
Man, they really think Jaden Daniels is like that, huh? Give me the Bengals.
Oh man. I will take Washington.
All right. Well, I think that's a perfect week for me. We'll see how them boys do. But, ain't a thing.
Anything else?
Nah.
Yeah.